What if the reason you keep waking up feeling foggy, forgetful, and mentally drained has nothing to do with how many hours you slept, and everything to do with what you ate yesterday? Most people assume that brain fog and poor memory are just part of getting older. They accept it, they push through it, they drink another cup of coffee and hope for the best. But here is the truth that most people never hear. The sharpness of your mind tomorrow is being decided right now, tonight, while you sleep. And whether your brain gets the repair it desperately needs depends not just on your sleep itself, but on what you put into your body hours before your head ever hits the pillow. Today we are going to talk about 3 remarkable fruits, ordinary fruits you can find at any grocery store, that quietly work with your brain's natural overnight repair process to strengthen your memory, clear away mental fog, and help you wake up feeling genuinely sharp and focused. And before we get into it, I want you to stay with me all the way to the end, because the third fruit is the one that surprises almost everyone. And the science behind what it does to your brain while you sleep is something you will not forget. Also, drop a comment right now and tell us, what age range are you in? Your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, or beyond? We want to know, and we read every single response. Now let's get into this. Here is something that most people fundamentally misunderstand about sleep. They think of it as the brain going quiet, shutting down, resting. But sleep is actually one of the most intensely active periods your brain experiences in any 24-hour cycle. While your body lies still and your muscles finally rest, your brain is doing something extraordinary. It is sorting through every conversation, every memory, every piece of information you encountered throughout the day. It is deciding what to keep, what to strengthen, and what to let go. It is clearing out waste, repairing damaged cells, reorganizing neural pathways, and building the mental clarity you will need for tomorrow. Sleep is not passive. Sleep is when your brain does its most important work. And here is why this matters so much. During deep sleep, your brain shifts into physical repair mode. Support cells become highly active, clearing out metabolic waste that has been accumulating in your brain tissue since the moment you woke up that morning. This waste, if not removed efficiently and completely, begins to interfere with how your neurons communicate with each other. It creates mental fatigue. It slows your thinking. It makes you feel like you are operating through a fog, even after a full night in bed. Deep sleep is when your brain clears all of that out. Then comes REM sleep, the stage most closely linked to memory and learning. During REM sleep, your brain replays the experiences of your day. The neurons that fired together while you were learning something new are reactivated. Important connections are deliberately strengthened. Weaker, unnecessary connections are trimmed away. Scientists call this process synaptic consolidation, and it is absolutely essential for long-term memory formation. Without proper REM sleep, without proper synaptic consolidation, the things you learn, the conversations you have, the details you try to hold on to simply do not stick the way they should. But here is the part of the story that almost nobody talks about. This entire nighttime repair process, all of this incredible work your brain does while you sleep, is highly sensitive to 3 specific things: inflammation inside the brain, the quality of blood flow to your neurons, and the availability of specific nutrients. If your brain environment is inflamed, or if circulation is compromised, or if the right compounds are simply not present, the repair process becomes inefficient. Neurons struggle to communicate. Memory consolidation weakens, waste clearance slows, and you wake up the next morning feeling like you barely slept at all, even if you were in bed for 8 full hours. This is one of the most important things you can understand about your own cognitive health. It is not always about sleeping more. Sometimes it is about giving your brain what it needs to actually use the sleep you're already getting. And this is exactly where nutrition becomes so critically important. Certain foods contain compounds that cross the blood-brain barrier, the protective gateway that controls what enters your brain, and remain biologically active for hours after you consume them. These compounds help reduce oxidative stress inside neurons. They support neurotransmitter balance. They improve cerebral blood flow. They create the calm, nourished, well-supplied internal environment that your brain needs to perform its overnight repair work at the highest possible level. And among all the food categories that support this process, fruits are particularly powerful because they contain natural polyphenols and antioxidants that protect neuronal tissue without overstimulating the nervous system. They do not force repair. They support the conditions that allow repair to happen naturally, efficiently, and deeply. The goal is never to make your brain work harder at night. The goal is to make its work more effective. Small nutritional choices made during the day can quietly and profoundly influence how well your brain resets while you sleep. And it all starts with the right fruits. Let's talk about the first one. And if you have ever walked past a pint of blueberries at the grocery store without thinking much of it, you are about to see them in a completely different light. One of the single greatest obstacles to efficient nighttime brain repair is something called low-grade neuroinflammation. This is not the kind of inflammation you can feel. It does not cause pain. It does not show up in obvious ways. It quietly, invisibly interferes with how your neurons communicate and recover during sleep. It slows down the cleanup process. It weakens memory consolidation. It leaves you mentally fatigued even after hours of rest. And it is far more common than most people realize, especially as we age. This is where blueberries stand. Apart from almost every other food available to us, blueberries are extraordinarily rich in compounds called anthocyanins. These are a class of polyphenols, powerful plant-based antioxidants, responsible for that deep, beautiful blue color you see in every berry. But their real value goes far beneath the surface. Anthocyanins are among the rare dietary compounds that can actually cross the blood-brain barrier and work directly inside neuronal tissue. During sleep, as your brain cells undergo their nightly maintenance and cleanup cycle, inflammatory signaling creates oxidative stress inside your neurons. This oxidative stress acts like interference. It disrupts the repair signals, slows the cleanup crew, and weakens the connections being formed during memory consolidation. Anthocyanins from blueberries neutralize the free radicals that generate this oxidative stress, allowing your brain's natural repair processes to move forward with significantly less interference. Think of it as clearing the road so the repair workers can actually get to where they need to go. But there is more. Blueberries also have a remarkable effect on cells called microglia. Microglia are your brain's dedicated immune system, specialized cells whose job is to identify threats and protect neural tissue. The problem is that when microglia become overactive, they begin releasing inflammatory compounds that actively disrupt the sleep-related repair process. They create the very neuroinflammation that makes nighttime recovery so much less efficient. Blueberry polyphenols help keep microglial activity balanced, alert enough to do their protective job, but not so overactive that they become a source of damage themselves. This balance supports healthier, cleaner neural communication during both deep sleep and REM sleep. Blueberries also protect something that most people never think about: the mitochondria inside your brain cells. Mitochondria are the energy-producing engines of your neurons. Even at night, even while you sleep, your neurons still require energy to reorganize synapses, strengthen memory pathways, and perform cellular maintenance. Compounds in blueberries actively protect mitochondria from oxidative damage, ensuring that brain cells have the sustained energy supply they need to complete their overnight repair work fully and efficiently. And here is a detail worth highlighting: blueberries have a remarkably low glycemic impact. Consuming high-sugar foods close to bedtime raises blood glucose at exactly the wrong time, disrupting sleep architecture and triggering inflammatory signaling. Blueberries deliver their extraordinary antioxidant support without causing those blood sugar spikes, making them one of the most sleep-compatible brain foods you can consume. The most important thing to understand about blueberries is this: they do not repair brain cells directly. What they do is create and maintain the ideal conditions for your brain to repair itself. That distinction matters enormously because sustainable cognitive health is built through cooperation with your brain's natural processes, not through forcing artificial outcomes. Consistency is what makes this work. Regular intake of blueberries helps maintain a steady protective level of anthocyanins in your brain tissue, building resilience against daily cognitive stress over time. Clearer thinking, improved recall, better mental endurance. These are the results of sustained, consistent support, not a single serving. Fresh, frozen, or lightly cooked blueberries all retain the vast majority of their benefits. Pairing them with a source of protein or healthy fat further stabilizes blood sugar and supports lasting cognitive energy throughout the day. Now let's move to the second fruit. And this one is genuinely surprising because almost nobody puts it on their list of brain-supporting foods. But the science behind what it does for memory consolidation during sleep is quietly remarkable. Kiwi. Small, slightly tangy, often overlooked, but inside this unassuming little fruit is a unique combination of vitamin C, serotonin-supporting compounds, and antioxidants that work together to influence sleep quality and neural signaling in ways that directly benefit your memory and cognitive clarity. Let's start with sleep quality, because this is where kiwi's influence begins. Kiwi has been shown in research to support deeper, more consistent, more stable sleep patterns. It does not act as a sedative. It does not force sleep. Instead, it contributes specific nutrients that help regulate your sleep cycles naturally, keeping you in each stage long enough for the brain to do its work. And this matters more than most people realize, because memory consolidation during REM sleep is not just about entering REM. It is about staying there long enough, undisturbed, for the brain to fully replay and reinforce the neural patterns formed during your day. When sleep becomes more stable and uninterrupted, the brain has more quality time to perform this consolidation process deeply and completely. During REM sleep, neurons that fired together during learning are reactivated and their connections are deliberately strengthened. But this process requires precise neurotransmitter balance. When oxidative stress or nutrient deficiencies disrupt that signaling, the memory-forming process weakens. Information that should move into long-term storage simply does not make the transition. Kiwi supports neurotransmitter balance in a particularly meaningful way through its influence on serotonin pathways. Now, most people associate serotonin with mood, and it does regulate mood. But serotonin also plays a critical and often underappreciated role in sleep architecture, the specific structure and progression of your sleep stages, and in learning itself. Balanced serotonin signaling supports smoother, more complete transitions between sleep stages, which directly enhances the memory processing your brain performs throughout the night. The vitamin C content in kiwi adds another powerful layer of support. Vitamin C is a potent antioxidant that protects neurons from oxidative stress and actively supports the synthesis of neurotransmitters involved in focus, learning, and memory formation. Unlike stimulant-based cognitive enhancers that push the brain into overdrive, vitamin C supports mental clarity without any form of overstimulation, making it particularly well-suited for nighttime brain processes where calm, efficient function is the goal. Kiwi also supports something called neuroplasticity, the brain's extraordinary ability to adapt, form entirely new connections, and reorganize existing neural pathways. Sleep is precisely when this adaptability is refined and reinforced. The antioxidants in kiwi help preserve the integrity of synapses, the connection points between neurons, allowing the brain to strengthen useful pathways and efficiently prune the ones that are no longer serving you. And because kiwi is relatively low in sugar and high in fiber, it helps prevent the blood sugar disruptions that interfere with sleep architecture. Stable blood sugar throughout the night supports uninterrupted sleep cycles, giving your brain the full, unbroken time it needs to complete memory consolidation from beginning to end. The effects of kiwi are cumulative. A single kiwi will not transform your memory overnight, but regular inclusion, eaten earlier in the day or in the early evening several times per week, creates a consistently more favorable internal environment for nighttime learning and recall. The brain does not need to be forced, it needs support. And kiwi works by gently, consistently reinforcing the natural sleep and memory processes that your brain is already trying to perform every single night. All right, stay with me, because we have arrived at the third fruit. And this is the one that catches almost everyone off guard. You have probably heard of it, you might even enjoy it, but the specific way it supports your brain during sleep, what it does for circulation, for oxygen delivery, for the very infrastructure your neurons depend on through the night, is something most people have never heard explained. And once you understand it, you will think about this fruit completely differently. Pomegranate. Rich, jewel-like, extraordinary, and packed with some of the most potent polyphenols found in any food on Earth, particularly compounds called punicalagins, which have a specific and powerful effect on the health and function of your blood vessels. Here is why this matters so profoundly for your sleeping brain. Even while you sleep, even while your muscles are completely at rest and your heart rate has slowed, your brain remains one of the most metabolically active organs in your entire body. It is repairing cells, reorganizing memories, regulating vital systems, clearing accumulated waste. And for every single one of these processes to work efficiently, your brain depends on a steady, reliable, uninterrupted supply of oxygen and nutrients delivered through your blood. Brain circulation does not stop during sleep. It becomes more targeted, more precise. And if that circulation is compromised in any way, the entire repair process suffers. Pomegranate directly supports endothelial function, the health of the inner lining of your blood vessels. A healthy, well-functioning endothelium helps your blood vessels expand and contract smoothly, adapting to the brain's changing demands throughout the night. When the endothelium is stressed or damaged, vessel flexibility decreases, circulation becomes less responsive, and your brain cells receive weaker, less consistent signals for repair. Pomegranate's polyphenols help maintain that flexibility, keeping the vascular system that supplies your brain responsive and efficient through every stage of sleep. Pomegranate also powerfully addresses oxidative stress in blood vessels. Oxidative stress stiffens vessel walls and interferes critically with nitric oxide signaling. Nitric oxide is a molecule your body produces naturally. It signals blood vessels to relax and dilate, allowing blood to flow more freely. When oxidative stress is high, nitric oxide production is suppressed, vessels stay tighter, and circulation suffers. Compounds in pomegranate actively support this nitric oxide signaling pathway, helping blood vessels relax and blood flow more freely to your brain, without any stimulant effect, without disrupting sleep, without interfering with the very rest you are trying to protect. The practical result of this vascular support is something called oxygen efficiency. Better circulation means oxygen is delivered more effectively to every neuron in your brain, even during sleep when your heart rate and blood pressure are naturally at their lowest. This helps prevent the subtle cumulative oxygen deficits that many people never connect to their symptoms, but that contribute directly to morning headaches, persistent mental fog, sluggish thinking in the first hours after waking, and the feeling that your brain simply has not fully come back online by the time you need it to be sharp. Pomegranate helps your brain stay properly supplied through the night so that when morning comes, you are not starting from a deficit. Critically, pomegranate is not a stimulant. It does not raise your heart rate, spike your blood sugar, or interfere with the sleep cycles you need for brain repair. When consumed in appropriate portions earlier in the day, it supports your vascular system, quietly in the background, creating a better, more well-supplied environment for everything your brain is trying to accomplish during the night. Consistency, as with everything we have discussed today, is what transforms this from an interesting fact into a genuine, loved cognitive benefit. Small, regular servings of pomegranate over time help maintain vascular health, cerebral circulation, and the oxygen delivery your neurons depend on for efficient, thorough overnight repair. Now let's talk about something that is just as important as which fruits you eat, when and how you eat them. Because the timing and manner of your nutritional choices can determine whether these fruits actively support your brain during sleep or subtly work against it. The most important principle is straightforward but often overlooked. Brain-supportive foods should not disrupt the sleep you are counting on them to improve. This means that while blueberries, kiwi, and pomegranate are all powerful allies for your sleeping brain, they are best consumed earlier in the day or in the early evening, not immediately before bed. Eating fruit too late raises blood sugar at exactly the time your body is preparing for rest. Even modest blood sugar fluctuations in the hours leading up to sleep can interfere with deep sleep quality, disrupt the hormonal balance that governs your sleep cycles, and reduce the total time your brain spends in the repair stages where memory consolidation and cellular maintenance actually happen. Stable blood sugar in the hours before and during sleep is one of the most important and most overlooked factors in brain health. Portion size matters as well. More is not always better. Fruits are genuinely beneficial, but consuming excessive amounts increases fructose load, which can strain the liver and disturb the sleep-related hormonal processes your brain depends on. Moderate, thoughtful servings are what you are aiming for. A small bowl of blueberries, 1 kiwi, a modest portion of pomegranate. Enough to deliver the brain-supportive compounds your neurons need without creating the metabolic disruption that would undermine everything you are trying to accomplish. Combining these fruits with other foods can significantly enhance their benefits. Pairing blueberries with yogurt or a handful of nuts, eating kiwi alongside a protein source, or enjoying pomegranate as part of a balanced meal, all of these combinations slow digestion, stabilize blood sugar, and create a more sustained, even delivery of protective compounds to your brain tissue. Hydration is another factor that most people completely overlook in this context. Many of the protective compounds in these fruits rely on proper hydration to circulate effectively through your body and reach your brain. Drinking adequate water throughout the day helps ensure these nutrients actually arrive where they need to be. Mild dehydration thickens your blood slightly, reducing oxygen delivery and making nighttime brain repair measurably less efficient. What you drink throughout the day quietly shapes how well your brain repairs itself while you sleep. There are also combinations to actively avoid. Highly processed desserts, sugary sauces, refined carbohydrates paired with fruit. These combinations trigger insulin spikes and inflammatory signaling that work directly against brain repair. They undermine the very benefits you are trying to create. Simplicity as a nutritional principle consistently outperforms complexity when the goal is supporting your brain's natural processes. Pay attention to how your own body responds. Some people find that fruit digests best earlier in the day, while others tolerate small amounts comfortably in the early evening. There is no rigid universal rule here. Your own sleep quality is your most reliable feedback system. And here's the final principle that ties everything together: consistency. Eating these fruits occasionally will provide some short-term antioxidant support, but your brain benefits most from regular, predictable nutritional signals. Including 1 or 2 of these fruits several times per week, rotating between them, pairing them thoughtfully, eating them at the right time, creates a sustainable nutritional rhythm that supports brain resilience over the long term. You do not need to eat all 3 every single day. The brain values consistency and pattern over perfection and intensity. This approach is especially valuable for adults over 35 who often begin noticing subtle shifts in memory, focus, and mental stamina that reflect normal changes in neuronal signaling, circulation, and sleep quality. These shifts are not failures. They are signals, and responding to them with consistent, targeted nutritional support is one of the most powerful things you can do to preserve your cognitive function rather than spending years trying to recover it later. Students and lifelong learners benefit enormously as well, because learning creates new neural connections that must be stabilized and reinforced during sleep. And when nighttime repair is disrupted, information simply does not move into long-term memory the way it should. And for anyone experiencing persistent mental fatigue or brain fog, it is worth understanding that fatigue very frequently reflects inefficient nighttime recovery. When neurons cannot fully reset during sleep, your brain starts every new day already operating from a deficit. Gentle, consistent nutritional support helps restore the balance your brain needs to actually recover. What makes this entire approach so powerful is that it works with your brain, not against it. These three fruits do not stimulate, force, or override your natural biological processes. They reduce the friction, they lower inflammation, they improve circulation, they support neurotransmitter balance. They create the conditions that allow your brain's own extraordinary repair systems to function at their full natural capacity. And over time, with repetition and consistency, this builds genuine cognitive resilience, the kind that helps your brain handle daily stress more effectively, form memories more completely, and recover more fully from the demands of each day. If there is one idea to carry with you from everything we have covered today, let it be this: long-term brain health is not built through dramatic interventions or perfect routines. It is built through daily cooperation with your brain's natural cycle of activity and repair. Small choices made consistently create the most lasting change. The brain you will have 5, 10, and 20 years from now is being shaped quietly, daily, by the habits you are building right now. If this video gave you something valuable today, a new perspective, a real insight, something you are going to actually apply, please take 2 seconds to hit the like button right now. It costs you nothing, and it helps more people find this information when they need it most. Share this video with someone in your life whose memory or mental clarity matters to you. Subscribe to this channel so you never miss another video like this one. We are here every week with science-based, genuinely useful information to help you protect your brain and live with more clarity, energy, and vitality at every age. And before you go, scroll down and leave a comment answering this question. What age range are you in? Your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, or beyond? We read every single comment and we would love to hear from you. Your brain is capable of far more than you might believe right now. Give it the support it deserves and watch what it can do.